Hello dear friends, students and viewers. Today I am discussing about the descriptive statistics. So before going to this analysis, first we should know some terminology or the point. So geographers are familiar with the techniques of mapping and tabular analysis of data. So even then the explanation of the patterns of the distribution tends to be mere descriptions of the feature observed on a map. In other words, statistics refers to the statistical principles and methods used in collecting, analyzing, or interpretations of the data. Thus, descriptive statistics actually means statistical techniques used for collection, summarization, classification, analysis, or comparison or interpretation of the huge and complex data. So according to Ashish Sharkar, the term data means a body of information in numerical form. So this quantitative information about any characteristics is known as the data. The statistical data are of the following two types, or source of data is two types. One is primary data and the secondary data. So primary data means it is actually collected by the surveyor for his own interest and for himself, and in the secondary data it is actually collected by anyone and it will be used by others. That is the types of secondary data. That means the data which are collected for the first time by the collector or investigator for his own purpose or statistical inquiry for the source of information is called actually primary data, whereas the data which are collected by someone and used by the investigator for his own purpose from the published or unpublished sources, that is called actually secondary data. So there are so many sources of primary data as well as secondary data. So the source of our collection methods of primary data are direct personal interview, where the investigator asks the question, face-to-face contact, that is actually direct personal interview. In indirect personal interview, normally the investigator contacts with a third party, and that is called the witnesses. Okay, so next is information from correspondence. So under this method, the investigator appoints a local agents or the correspondents in different places to collect the information. Next is actually mailed questionnaire. So under this method, a list of questions pertaining to the survey known as the questionnaire is prepared and sent to the various informants to the post. Next is questionnaire to be filled up by the enumerator. In such cases, the enumerators contact the informants and get replies to the questions contained in a schedule and fill them in their own handwriting in the questionnaire form. So some examples of primary data collections, agencies like census, then surveys, or the national registration. Next is secondary data. It may be classified broadly into two categories. One is published, another is unpublished. So in published categories, the data are collected from the official publications of government reports or the inquiry committees, whereas in unpublished condition it includes the large amount of data collected by government institution or others which remain actually unpublished. Next is classification of data. So on the basis of the special characteristics of the data can be classified into four broad categories. One is chronological. So chronological data means these are classified according to their times, like year, month, week, days, etc. For example, year-wise distributions of population. Next is geographical classification of data. So geographical classification of data is also known as the chronological classification of data, and this classification is done according to the geographical areas, such as a big continent, then a country, or it may be state, district, etc. Next is qualitative data. It is actually classification of data. It is mainly based on the quality of the nature of a particular item. For example, sex ratio of population is a qualitative classification of the data. Next is actually quantitative classification of data, and it represents basically the class of data. which is actually represents the quantitative classification of data. For example, we can say that is the height, length, width, age, income, etc. These are the quantitative classification of data. Now the data tabulation. So what is data tabulation? Actually it is the principal method of presenting the data in a systematic form, and through a tabular a way or tabular presentation. So the main purpose of a table is to simplify the presentation and to make comparison easy. Mainly two types of tables are used in statistics. One is simple and complex table, another is general or special purpose table, and these are the examples of tables. So this is a construction of statistical table. Here you can see these are the row headings, that is also known as the star, and these are the column heading, this is also known as the captions, and this is the box head. Here table number will be written, then this is the head note, and here it is title. Then if there is some footnotes, then it will be written here, then the sources. Now the statistical series, this is the most important part of the descriptive statistics. So mainly two types of statistical series are found. One is individual, another is frequency distribution series. So individual series can be compiled using according to the serial number or simple arrangement of the data, and frequency distribution table is broadly divided into two categories. One is discrete, another is continuous series. Again, continuous series has been classified into 5 categories, and last one, that is cumulative frequency series, is classified into 2 categories. One is less than cumulative series and another is more than cumulative series. So here is an example of individual series, and it is actually I have just written on the basis of the serial number. So just I have written the serial number and then I put the different marks that are obtained by some students. So this is actually individual series, but it is ordered in a serial number. So these are also the individual series, but I have just arranged this data in ascending order and this one in descending order. You can see this is 1923, so the range of the data are increases, so it is ascending order, whereas this is actually descending order. That means individual series is according to serial number. So this one is serial number. I have just written these values in according to their serial number, and these are the simple array of data. That means I have arranged here in ascending order and these are in descending order. So here I have given question, do it own at home. So these are the values, that is it has been given so prepare two table, one like this way, that means according to serial number, and another like simple array of data. It may be ascending or it may be a descending order. So this is for your exercise purpose. So here I have written the different reference book that I get help, and you can also purchase or follow these books for further references. So thank you for watching, and you can subscribe my channel for upcoming new videos. And my next upcoming videos is descriptive statistics, same part, but in the second part. This is actually first part, and I will publish very soon. So thank you so much.